If you've ever been listening to a podcast and had the thought, hey, I could do something like this, I'm here to tell you, yes, you can, and you're gonna have so much fun along the way, including getting set up. In this video, I'm gonna walk you through the 5 steps you need to get your first podcast episode recorded and published, whether you are recording solo or if you have co-hosts and guests, and to get it published into our favorite podcast feeds. I will also be sharing a powerful bonus tip at the end, something I wish that I had done when I first started podcasting 5 years ago, that you can start doing right away to grow your podcast. I will add timestamps and chapters below so that you can skip right to the section that you need help with. The beauty of starting any new creative project with 0 subscribers or nobody in your audience is that there are no expectations. So instead of trying to think about how you're going to make your listeners happy, think of your first 5 to 10 episodes as an experiment. This will give you an opportunity to see what people are responding to and what you enjoy talking about. Here are some of the things that me and my sister Laura were able to uncover after recording our first 5 to 10 episodes of our show, Film to Table Podcast. First, our episodes with guests were our highest performers. 2, our audience seems to really like Nora Ephron and Nancy Meyers type movies. And this last insight came at the end of our season 2, our Christmas season, in which we discovered that just because me and Laura are millennials does not mean that we need to only choose millennial-centric movies to cover. Our second highest performing episode to date is centered around the movie Meet Me in St. Louis, which is a film that was released well before even our parents were born. And this is the kind of insight that we would have never been able to figure out if we hadn't just gone ahead, pressed record, and started putting episodes out there. I'm gonna keep this section very short. Just pick a name and go with it. You have so much more to gain by launching now with a subpar name than starting a year from now with this perfectly crafted title. When people are searching for new podcasts, they will typically go into a podcasting app and type in a keyword into the search bar. They're likely not going to be searching for your perfectly crafted podcast name that conveys the entire history and future of your show. So with that in mind, if you're feeling stuck, focus on keywords instead of trying to get really clever, which is what me and my friend Steve did when we decided to name our show simply A Podcast for Creatives. A little side benefit that we did not consider when we chose that name is that in Apple Podcasts, if you search under shows, they by default list all of the podcasts that you subscribe to alphabetically, which means if you're in that tab, our show is typically at the top of it. So if you're deciding between a name that starts with a B or a W, you may want to lean towards the former to give yourself a little bit more of a head start. If you're just getting started and you want to spend $0, I recommend starting with something that you might already have in your house. An old-fashioned pair of headphones that come with the old iPhones, a pair of AirPods, or any sort of headphone that has a mic attached to it. But if you're willing to invest a little bit, because there is something that makes you feel really legitimate about owning an actual microphone, here are the 2 options I would recommend. The Audio-Technica ATR 2100 is the mic that both Steve and I have been using since the beginning of our show, and it also comes with a little stand. My sister Laura uses this Yeti microphone to record on her end, and so far it's been working great for her. Both of these options are USB mics, which means they plug right into your computer. You don't need any other sort of special box or equipment. If you're recording a solo show, all you need is an audio recorder. And I recommend using what comes with your computer. So if you have a Mac, you can use QuickTime. And if you're on a PC, you can download QuickTime for PC. If you don't have a computer, you can also record into your phone using voice memos if you have an iPhone, or ASR voice recorder if you're using an Android. One more option I want to throw your way is a platform called Anchor, where you can record, edit, and publish all from one place on your mobile device. I've not personally used it, but if you're just starting out, it seems like a great solution if you want to keep everything streamlined. For my 2 shows, We use Skype to record, which is free to use, and we purchased an add-on called Ecamm Recorder, which was just a one-time purchase. We don't pay a subscription or anything. And the reason that I love Ecamm is because it captures both the audio and the video, which we love to use to repurpose in clips that we share on social media. It also allows you to export as separate tracks or everyone together. And I should also mention that if you host a show with other people, only one person needs the recorder. So I'm the only one who has it on my computer. So when you're ready to either invite a guest onto the show or kick off the recording with your co-host, all you have to do in Skype is set up a new chat, send them the link, and the recording starts automatically. And the last option I want to recommend for recording with multiple people is a platform called Crowdcast. I have not personally used this, but I have been a guest on other podcasts who use this as their primary recording platform. And the thing that sets Crowdcast apart is that in addition to being able to have multiple people on at once, you can also invite your audience to come on, participate, chat, and watch you record your show live, which is an excellent way to build your community. There's nothing that I love more than seeing people pursue new creative ideas, and I want to do everything I can to help you get more of them started. If you've been enjoying this video and you have other creative ideas that you'd like to explore, share your biggest, craziest ones with me in the comments below, and also hit the subscribe button. I'm always looking for new show ideas, and your idea might just be my next one. But for now, let's get back to podcasting. Before I get into editing software options, I want to present you with the easiest course of action, which is to not edit your show. You can simply go and publish it directly from the raw file. For certain shows and certain personalities, I think having a really authentic, unedited show would actually be something that sets you apart and may end up being beneficial. But if you would like to edit your show, either to remove the ums and the ahs and the likes, which is typically what I'm taking out of my shows, or to add music or clips, here are the platforms that I recommend. If you use a Mac, GarageBand is what I've been using to edit our shows from day one. It is free and it is very easy to use. The Windows version of this is called Audacity, and same thing, free to use, and what I would recommend if you're using a PC. You can also edit right from your mobile device if you're using that platform called Anchor, which I mentioned earlier. And if you're already using Adobe Creative Cloud, it likely means that you have access to Adobe's audio editing software, which is called Adobe Audition. I did try playing around with the platform since I do subscribe to Adobe Creative Cloud, and I just found that it had way more controls than I knew what to do with. So if you're just starting out, I recommend simplicity is always your best option. Once your episode is edited and you have exported the file, all you need to do is upload it to your hosting platform. And you can think of your host kind of like a radio station. They're the ones who keep your audio files and then broadcast it out to all the places, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. I'm only going to talk about one platform here because it's the one that I have been using since the beginning, and it is widely regarded as one of the best podcast hosting platforms out there. The platform is called Libsyn. I will link to them below with everything else that I've been mentioning. With a simple upload, you can decide where you want your show to be published. You can add a description, add your show artwork, which is really easy to do using one of Canva's templates, which you can access directly in your Libsyn dashboard, or if you want to do it independently, I will link to some of my favorite Canva templates below. One of my favorite features of Libsyn is that it comes with built-in stats, which gives you an easy way to look at how your show is performing, and this will help you decide what types of episodes you want to create going forward. It's funny, but I think that for new podcasters, there are two giant fears, and those fears conflict with one another. One is that no one is going to listen to their show, and the other is that people that you know will end up listening to your show, and oh my goodness, what is more terrifying than that, than having people in your real life discover that you have started a podcast. Even if your show may not be intended for someone like your uncle or your neighbor or your kid's friend's mom, invite and encourage them to listen to your podcast anyway. The foundation of your audience is likely going to be made up of people who do already know you in real life. And I think that's a beautiful thing. You can promote and share your show online on Instagram or Twitter or TikTok or whatever your favorite platform is. But there is nothing that is more powerful than a personal recommendation. Those first listeners of people that you do know are going to be your biggest cheerleaders. And I know that my podcast would not have gone anywhere without the support of our friends and family. So if you are one of those people, thank you. If I were starting a new podcast today, the thing that I would absolutely do is record and share a full video version of your episode. Because the platform that we use comes with a built-in video recorder, Steve and I have been recording a podcast for creatives in video format since the beginning. But we weren't really doing much with it other than creating small clips to share on social media. But today, YouTube is prioritizing podcasts and is currently the #2 platform for audio-based shows. If you are a new show, there is a tremendous opportunity for you to grow on YouTube simply by uploading a video version of your show, which is something that I started doing for a podcast for creatives and Film to Table earlier this year. If you're thinking about creating a video version of your show to put on YouTube, here is an easy editing tip for you. Edit the video version of your show using a free platform called CapCut. Then export the video and audio at the same time. Send your audio version to Libsyn or wherever you host your podcasts, upload your video version to YouTube, sit back and watch your podcast grow. As much as I love writing and creating videos, podcasting remains my favorite medium for creating content. And I have a feeling that once you get rocking and rolling, you're gonna feel the same. Once you get your first podcast published, come back to this video and share a link to it in the comments below. I would love to come cheer you on and see what you have created. Until we meet again, get out there and make something beautiful.